battle, I would say our international students are paying lots of money,
Mm-hmm.
very high premium for their insurances.
Oh,
However,
okay.
when it's time for them to
To
make
claim, to make a claim, yeah.
a
Oh.
claim,
Mm-hmm.
the maximum they get is about 15%. So if they're hospitalized, for
Mm-hmm.
example, one of our
Yes.
volunteers had her gallbladder taken out,
Oh,
and
wow.
the
Okay.
whole amount was $3,000 for the
Mm-hmm.
surgery. And she didn't even stay in the hospital. It was like
Mm-hmm.
it was done in the morning. She went
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
home at night, and she only got $300 back from the insurance. So
Every year, thousands of people migrate to other countries in search for a better life.
Each one with a story to tell of courage and determination.
Adjusting to a new country is not that easy.
Here at Migrant Tribe, we honor you.
So join us as we share our stories from our journey down under.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Migrant Tribe. Stories from our journey down under, episode 39. This is Joseph. Together with me are the other members of the tribe. There's a John. Hi, John. How you doing?
Hi, how are we?
Good, good. And there's a Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine.
Hello.
Okay. So today, again, we'll be talking about, we'll be focusing on another organization who's helping out foreign students, specifically during this time of pandemic. Okay, and the name of the organization is Gawad Kalinga Australia. Gawad Kalinga began in the Philippines many years back, eventually grown to the different parts of the world. Their mission mostly is to help alleviate the poor and help those in need. So a big migrant tribe welcome to the representative of Gawad Kalinga Australia, Ms Marisa Vedar. Hi Marisa, how you doing?
good evening, everyone. Joseph, John, and Pin, and thank you for inviting me tonight. Magandang gabi.
Okay. So first question. So it's the pandemic, and Gawad Kalinga decided that we need to help the students. So what kind of help are you giving the foreign students during this time of pandemic?
Okay, we started last year during the first lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
We partnered with the Australian Philippine Business Council, the APBC,
Mm-hmm.
and we were giving out Kohl's and Woolworths grocery vouchers, mostly Kohl's vouchers. So it was a contactless help
Mm-hmm.
because I also didn't want our volunteers to be out there and get the virus. So we were helping international students all over Australia,
Mm-hmm.
except Darwin, but Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, Adelaide, Tasmania,
Mm-hmm.
Perth,
Mm-hmm.
and Queensland in Brisbane. We gave out a total of 1,000 Kohl's grocery vouchers during the pandemic last year. Now that we are in lockdown again,
Mm-hmm.
we are not just giving Kohl's vouchers. We're also giving the food basic necessities as well. So we partnered with Merchants Manila. We
Mhm.
buy the goods, the Filipino goods from Merchants Manila in wholesale, and they then our priority is the tier 1, yung mga naka-quarantine, the tier 1, and those who have been affected by COVID themselves. We are also helping those who are financially in need, but priority namin yung mga naka-tier 1 and those who are affected by COVID directly. So we're giving groceries, and if it's too far away, then we give the grocery vouchers. However, that didn't stop us to go all the way in Shepparton when we gave out Yeah, we gave out food supplies to 100 families who were in isolation at that time.
Okay.
Gawad Kalinga has been only did it last year, or there was engagement beforehand with the community? Or what were the past activities of Gawad Kalinga that engaged with the community, so to speak?
In Australia, prior to the COVID, we had the bushfire appeal. And occasionally there are international students who come to us for help, financial help due to medical reasons. So we've raised money for international students who have cancer, those who are, there's one in East Gippsland who the international student was pregnant, and it was a very difficult pregnancy, and she was given 50-50 chance of survival. So in cases like that where, and this is again another area I think that we want to focus on, another maybe battle, I would say. Our international students are paying lots of money, very high premium for their insurances. However, when it's time for them to make
make a claim,
a claim, the maximum they get is about 15%. So if they're hospitalized, for example, one of our volunteers had her gallbladder taken out, and the whole amount was $3,000 for the surgery, and she didn't even stay in the hospital. You know, it was like it was done in the morning. She went at home at night, and she only got $300 back from the insurance. So this is one thing that we'd like to raise awareness on, in helping international students. It's not just food that they need. It's not just the groceries, but their life here is very difficult. When they encounter difficulties like getting sick, you can't expect the insurance to pay for everything. Where do they turn to? Yeah, where do they turn to? And that's where Gawad Kalinga also comes in, helping them to raise money we also make the donation. So we make the initial donation and then raise awareness and help them to raise money to pay for their medical bills.
Okay. And the students, how are you able to gather these students, through the schools, through the different communities, or you just post it on Facebook and you have a lot of people approaching you?
We have a Facebook page, Gawad Kalinga Australia, and we also have a Facebook page solely for international students. It's called FISA Kumustahan, Filipino International Students Kumustahan. So we have about 900 in that exclusive Facebook page. And we have also partnerships with the student associations in Sydney and Melbourne and in Queensland. So we already have about over 1,000 in our database of international students. And it's not so hard to actually find them because they find us. When we've helped someone, you know, the word spreads around.
Yes.
So most of the text messages that I get are, "Hello, Tita, you've helped my friend. I heard that you're doing this. Do you think you can help me?" So we are not wanting at all. We're not lacking at all of looking for students who need to be helped.
Okay. And so the way I see it, you're really building a community, and I'm sure those students actually help fellow students, and they can discover themselves within your group. Is that correct?
Yes, actually also, Joseph, we have a new batch of volunteers right now who are very active. And these are young international students whom we have helped last year. And now they're paying it forward by working as volunteers for Gawad Kalinga. Some of them have been trained in peer-to-peer mental health, which we also funded the training for. Some of them are working in our hotline. We've got a dedicated number where they can call and ask for support. But we're very heavy in social media. So, and I'm very proud of these international students because they have been helped. They now feel that it's about time they pay it forward, and sila naman, they're the ones now sharing their time and talent for Gawad Kalinga. But I would like to say it's not for Gawad Kalinga, it's for the community. We're just the conduit, or we're just the link between them and their fellow international students.
Okay.
That's a curious question. Why is it that they take support from you rather than from any other organizations out there?
Sorry, why is it that they get the support from us?
Why they go to Gawad Kalinga rather than to other organizations to get support?
Yeah, I would like to clarify that question. We are not the only one that they come to. In fact, the students who we have helped have also gone to other organizations. And we, in fact, refer them to Red Cross. If they have psychological or stress-related issues, we refer them to Beyond Blue and IPC Health. We have a lot of organizations because we're working as a bicultural worker with MyCare under the Brimbank City Council. We've been given a lot of agencies who we can connect with and make referrals. So no, it is not only Gawad Kalinga who helps them, but I think the reason why they come to us is because they have heard that we have helped a lot of international students last year, and they come back. Some of them have come back to us. Yung mga natulungan na, they come again because they still need help. But they're the ones spreading the word that, GK did this, GK did that. We don't need to flaunt what we do. We do it out of love of God and of our fellow humans. And when they come to us, it's because God has directed them to come to us, and we help them.
Okay.
And then they help as well in the process, because they know how important it is to get help or support. And then when they are able, then it's their time to, as what you've said, pay it forward.
In Gawad Kalinga kasi we have a battle cry. It's called Walang Iwanan. That's from the Philippines pa. That is the battle cry of Gawad Kalinga. And we do that as well in Melbourne, in Australia. We're not going to leave anyone behind. A single mom who doesn't have work, cannot raise the children, we help them. Someone who's lonely and feeling isolated, we're going to be there for them. Not just financial help or giving groceries, but that's why we've established the hotline, because we're going to be there to listen to whatever difficulties they want to talk about. We're going to be there to listen.
Okay, good. Very inspiring. So kind of on the personal side, so what kind of enticed you to join the cause of GK years ago?
Actually, Gawad Kalinga started as a social ministry of a religious group called Couples for Christ. So my husband and I were with CFC for 17 years. And then there was a split within Couples for Christ, and factions happened, and we decided that we'll just stick to Gawad Kalinga. And the reason why I continued on in GK is because I firmly believe that you walk the talk. You don't just pray and say, God, help those who are in need. You help those in need.
Right.
I believe that at the end of our journey, when we're facing our Maker, The question that will be asked is, did you feed the hungry? Did you clothe, did you house those who were homeless? Did you love your brother the way that you love your own family? And this is the reason why I'm stuck with Gawad Kalinga. I call it faith in action. I don't believe in praying, reading the Bible. Of course, I still do. I pray and read the Bible, but I don't believe in just doing that. I believe in living out my faith, in showing my children and hopefully my grandchildren that this is what it means to be serving God. And the way to serve God is to serve those who are needing the most help. So the least of what we call in the Bible, the least of our brethren. And I'd like to think that I'm leaving an example of servant leadership in my family and in the community. And that's why I've been in Gawad Kalinga since it started
here in Australia?
in Couples for Christ.
Yes.
In Australia, we were actually 3 years behind. But in Gawad Kalinga started in the Philippines, and then 3 years later, it was brought to Australia. However, the founder of Gawad Kalinga, Tony Meloto, conceptualized Gawad Kalinga in Melbourne, and at that time he was actually staying with us. Tony Meloto was the international the pastoral coordinator of Gawad Kalinga then. And he came to Australia for a visit. He was staying with us. We were my children were still very young then. And we were talking about Tito Tony is an Ateneo alumni, and so am I. And we were talking about there's a subject in Ateneo where they inculcate being a man or a woman for others. And I remember, we were having coffee in my in my dining area. We were talking about what it means to be a man or a woman for others. And that's when he said that, I'm thinking of doing a ministry on social justice. And I'm very proud to say that Gawad Kalinga, actually the concept of Gawad Kalinga was born in Melbourne. And only because of that, I think that I owe it to Tito Tony and to the rest of Gawad Kalinga to make sure that GK is very, very strong in Melbourne, because this is where the seed or the thought actually it came to Melbourne. The fruition of that thought came about in Melbourne.
Okay. Jasmine, you want to ask something?
Congratulations. Well done. What's next then? Now that you're after all the help and support you've done over the pandemic and even before that, so what's upcoming?
We'd like to expand some more. When you talk about Gawad Kalinga, there's 2 programs. One is the international program, which is helping people in the Philippines, and we're now into developing programs for our education. We have a project called Maleta Library. Because of the lockdown, the children cannot go to school, so they're just studying at home. But some of them actually don't have books. They have no writing pads, no notebooks, or no library to go to. So Gawad Kalinga Australia is actually funding 2,000 books that will be shared in the Maleta Library, and that's going to the kids in our Gawad Kalinga communities in the 2,800 villages all over the Philippines. And secondly, we're going to be very active in Bayan Anihan. This is to help our farmers. I am not sure if you're aware, Joseph or John, Pin, 60% of the Philippine population is dependent on agriculture. But the children of our farmers once they graduate university, they go abroad. They go to the Middle East, some of them become domestic helpers. They when they become a nurse, they go to Saudi. So who's going to till the land? Gawad Kalinga is very heavy on social entrepreneurship right now. We actually have the first and only social enterprise academy in the GK farm in Bulacan.
Yep.
But we also have to help the farmers. If 60% of the population is dependent on agriculture, who's helping the farmers? And Bayan Anihan is a program to actually help the farmers, not to be sustainable. Because, for example, yung mga rice growers natin, they only have one crop, which is rice.
Yep.
And we're introducing for them to have another crop. Maybe kamoteng kahoy, or they can plant bamboos, they can plant other vegetables, so that while waiting for the rice to be harvested, they're also engaging in other kind of farming, so that it's sustainable. So that's called Bayan Anihan. We're also heavy on another program called Kusina ng Kalinga. It's feeding the school children. We used to do it in school, but since the pandemic, we're now going to the different Gawad Kalinga communities and feeding the primary school children, as well as reading to them. On the domestic front in Australia, again, we're very heavy in helping our international students, temporary visa holders, yung the ones who are on working permits, and anyone who basically is marginalized, we're going to help. We're looking at also extending our help to the disability sector. That's in the pipeline. There's going to be a partnership happening soon. So we're in the discussions, but this is again in the field of social entrepreneurship. Maybe we can get our, and I'm not talking about the severely disabled, the functional with little disability.
Okay.
Maybe we can help them to be more entrepreneurial. So we're looking for a program that would actually help them to do that.
Oh wow. Oh, it's good. Wow.
Lots of plans.
Lots of okay. So here's another personal question. Like, in your years of being a GK volunteer, what would you consider to be the most rewarding moment? Was there any particular moment, or was it many little things all through the years?
Actually, I love that question, Joseph, and I think John can relate to this because it happened in Capiz. Was it 5 years ago? I can't remember the exact. We went to Capiz to do the Kusina ng Kalinga, the feeding of the school children. I can't remember the name of the island, but we went to an island, and I don't know how to swim, and I'm scared of riding a boat.
Okay.
And it wasn't even a boat, it was a bangka. And I don't know the name of the island, John, but it's 45 minutes from the port by boat. In the middle of the river, I think that's a river, the boatman, who was a woman, forgot to fill the petrol, the tank of the boat. So we stalled in the middle of the river.
In the middle of the river, okay.
In the middle of the river. And of course, I don't know how to swim. But we have our life jackets.
Life jackets.
But that was a good reason for me to have a panic attack. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to die for doing all of this for Gawad Kalinga. And of course, I didn't die. And someone said to me, Tita, if you actually fall in the water, you will see it's probably going to be up to here. So don't worry, right? Anyway, when we got to the island, we were going to feed. There's only one school in that island. And there were 4 classrooms, and in one classroom, there's only one teacher from grade 1 to grade 4. And I remember the teacher was a retired principal from Rojas City. And she was telling us that the difficulty of teaching, it's a mixed class from grade 1 to grade 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were there to feed them for their recess. We were going to feed them fried chicken and rice and Milo. So there were a lot of volunteers. So we were the volunteers were serving the rice, and the kids were told to line up to get their chicken.
Mm-hmm.
My job was to film it, to document it, and to take photos. So I was next to the teacher, and every time a kid came, she would give, and our volunteers would give chicken. I noticed this boy, I think he was 8 years old. He lined up, the first time he lined up for the chicken, he got a drumstick. Okay, and then he lined up again. And this time he got a wing. The third time he lined up again, one of the volunteers noticed, and he said, I'll say it in Tagalog, Totoy, bakit naka-line up ka na naman? And he was holding the wing, half of the wing, in his left hand, hiding it behind him. He said, Totoy, bakit nakalinya ka na naman? Isn't it I already gave you 2 pieces of chicken. Why are you lining up again? And he said, am I allowed to say this in Tagalog? Because it's more, the impact is more.
Yes.
And he said, kasi po 8 kaming magkakapatid. Yung 2 chicken po, nilagay ko na sa bag ko kasi yung 5 kapatid ko na mas bata sa akin, hindi po sila kakain today. Anong hindi kakain today? May schedule pala sila ng dinner. Some kids will eat dinner tonight. Other kids will eat dinner tomorrow. Those who will not eat dinner tonight will only have rice with toyo or asin, right? He said, kasi po kung makakakuha ako ng enough chicken for my younger siblings, di bali na kung hindi ako kumain, basta kumain lang yung mga mas bata sa kanya. You know, nabitawan ko yung video kasi tumakbo na ako sa labas, and I was hiding behind the door of the classroom, and humagulgul talaga ako. Umiyak talaga ako kasi sabi ko, sa Australia, pag ayaw ng mga anak ko yung ulam namin, nag-o-order ng McDonald's. And then, di naman nauubos yung chips, di ba? Always, when you order McDonald's, hindi nauubos yung chips, itatapon mo yun. And can you imagine, he was 9 years old, he has 5 siblings na mas bata sa kanya, na posibleng hindi nakaschedule mag-dinner nung gabing yun. Ang hagulgul ko talaga. And I said, Lord, you know, I'm so lucky that my kids are in Australia and they have all the luxury that they can ever need. How come the basic necessity of eating dinner ipinagkakait sa ibang tao? And that's when I told myself, John, I am in the right mission. Because yun at that moment, it affirmed my resolve, or it affirmed my my pag-iisip, at yung pag-iisip ko at yung puso nagkaroon ng confirmation na this is what I'm here for. Alam mo, sa sobrang awa ko dun sa bata, binigyan ko ng 10 manok kasi 8 silang magkakapatid plus yung nanay at saka yung tatay. Sabi ko, iho, ibigay mo to, iuwi mo to sa buong pamilya mo. Kakain kayong lahat tonight. And while I was giving him that bag of chicken na nilagay, binalot ko lang sa newspaper kasi wala namang kaming makitang plastic bag na. Umiiyak din yung bata, nag-iyakan na lang kaming dalawa. And so, that moment, I said to myself, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Medyo mahaba yung kwento, no?
No, that's okay. It was, of course,
Thank you for sharing.
thank you for sharing that very inspiring story. John, could you?
That's your what do you call it? That's your road to Jericho.
At yan ang nangyari yan sa bayan ni John Alayon, taga-Capiz yan eh.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, kasama ata namin yung sister mo at the time. I'm not sure kung kasama siya at that time dun sa island na yun.
Siguro. But since you mentioned my place, in our little way, we keep on doing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, John. So that kind of wraps up our episode. Thank you again, Marisa, for taking time off, joining us, inspiring us, and I guess now more than ever, all of us should be, really looking at ourselves, being fortunate. We should feel fortunate that we're here in Australia, and keep up the good work. We need more people like you. Okay, so
Thank you. Sama-sama tayo.
Yep. Okay. Yep. John has something to say. Yes. Go ahead, John.
So I would like to thank you, Marisa, as well for espousing what JK is all about, as we can hear from her story that the profound idea about paying it forward. So meaning to say, what you planted is starting to grow and become a good harvest. So at least that is our only consolation that what we started, people are picking up and sharing with us the journey, or they take over from us. So yeah, JK.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you again. So
much.
yes, Pin, you have something to say, or?
No, thank you so much, Marisa. Thank you for your time. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm hoping there will be next time.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely there'll be a
anytime.
next time.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, to all our viewers, thank you again for watching the Migrant Tribe. So every Tuesdays we have new episode. Please continue watching and liking and subscribing to our channel. Okay, to everyone, bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.